Yesterday we have seen how to connect and how to create a activity all with the help of RDS database. Help of RDS database. Today we are going to see one more DB, one more database, which is Dynamo database. This is also most commonly used database. That is the reason we are covering. First one is RDS, which is a part of MySQL, and this one is DynamoDB. This one is DynamoDB, and it is NoSQL. It is a part of NoSQL. So maybe under the NoSQL, we might have MongoDB. Initially itself, I would have covered. So see here, it is a type of SQL where we have seen RDS and all, where we have seen RDS. Because under the NoSQL, we have this type of databases like MongoDB, Hadoop, Cassandra, HBase, DynamoDB. Everything will come under NoSQL. Under the SQL, we have the RDS. Under the SQL database, we have the RDS. Under the NoSQL, we have Dynamo. So this is the what we are going to see. DynamoDB. As we know, it is a NoSQL database. As we know, it is a NoSQL database. Also, I can even call it as it is unstructured or semi-structured. It is also called as unstructured or semi-structured. Whereas RDS is the structured database. RDS is the structured database, but DynamoDB, it consists of both structured as well as non-structured database. It can have both structured as well as non-structured. Structured in the sense, RDS will be in the proper table format. RDS is in the proper table format with the equal number of rows and columns and all. But here, in DynamoDB, it won't follow the structure and all. It won't follow the table format, or it will follow the table format, but the data in this table format will be some mixed variants. Will be some mixed. It will not be in the proper format. So that is called it is unstructured, or they can even call as semi-structured as well. Yesterday I have said, since RDS is following the vertical scaling, and DynamoDB is following the horizontal scaling. DynamoDB is following the horizontal scaling, and it is of high performance. This high performance, it can process millions of requests per second. So it can handle millions of requests per second. This database can handle the millions of records or millions of requests or millions of input-output operation per second. So obviously, if the performance is high, we will call it as expensive. Obviously, the performance is definitely it will be expensive actually, and it is serverless database. We'll also call as it is a serverless database. But RDS is the, I will write the difference for the RDS as well. So RDS, it is of MySQL. RDS, it is of MySQL. Again, it is of structured. It is of structured MySQL and structured, and it is of vertical scaling. We focus on the vertical scaling. And again, low performance when compared to DynamoDB. It is a low performance when compared to the DynamoDB. And again, less cost as well as when compared to DynamoDB. And again, it is the server-based architecture. Follows the server-based architecture. The same right opposite is DynamoDB. It is MySQL, but this one is NoSQL. It is in the form of structured, clear table data, but it is an unstructured. It is following the vertical scaling. It is following the horizontal scaling. It is low performance. It is high performance. It is less cost. It is high cost. It is server-based. It is serverless database. It is a serverless database. So that is the reason we are moving into DynamoDB. So like we have seen under both databases, we have seen one example. So under the relational database management, we have seen RDS. Under the NoSQL, we are seeing this DynamoDB. Under the NoSQL, we are seeing this Dynamo. So this one is also we can call as AWS to manage the service. This one is also AWS to manage the service or AWS managed database. AWS managed database. Maybe I'll log in to the AWS account. what I'll do, I'll search for DynamoDB. Here, it is a managed AWS managed NoSQL database. What they are saying is AWS to manage, this is an AWS to manage NoSQL database. We can call like this, AWS managed NoSQL database. Same thing if I search for RDS, managed RDS. It is a managed relational database service, but DynamoDB, it is a managed NoSQL service. That is the difference. Both are AWS managed only. That is no issues. Both are AWS managed only, but it is a NoSQL database. This one is, maybe I can even give as managed RDMS database or SQL database. Anything you can call it. Or MySQL database. This one is managed NoSQL database. So here I'll search for DynamoDB. So I'll click on this DynamoDB. So see here, it is a fast and flexible NoSQL database service for any number of volumes, or any number of scales or volumes and all. How many data like loads also this database can handle. So while creating an RDS, there is one option called database, create database. See here. So maybe if I search RDS, we'll open this in a new tab. There's one option called create a database. So yesterday we have created this databases only, but here there is no option called create a database and all. Directly we are going to create a table. Directly we are going to create a table in our databases. Yesterday we have created a database. Inside the database we have created a like with the help of query we have created one table. But here I'm going to directly create a table. Here I'm going to directly create a table. I'm not going to write any query since it is a NoSQL. It is a NoSQL. There is no query and all. We don't need to write a query and all. You can directly create a table whichever you want. You can directly create a table whichever you want based upon the columns and the rows whichever you need. So again I'll explain. Yesterday we have created one databases in RDS, and after I have just connected with my EC2, I have created one table with the help of SQL query, and added some values to this queries. But here we are not going to first create a database and then we can write a query and create a table and all. Directly I got an opportunity to create a table in this DynamoDB. Directly I can go and create a table. So click on create a table. Just enter your table name. Maybe I'll mark it as demo Dynamo. So demo DynamoDB. So this is my table name. Or you can also meaningfully, if I want to give, for example, it is an employee table. For example, I can give it as employee table, or can even give us student table. It is a student table. So maybe I'm a student. So there is one option called partition. What is this partition? The first concept is under this DynamoDB. The first thing we need to remember, what is the partition? So if I go here and go through the definition, partition key is the part of table primary key. What is primary key? I'll explain. So if someone knows SQL, they know what is meant by primary. Partition key is something, it is a part of table primary key. It is a hash value which is used to retrieve an item from our table and we can allocate the data. Simply, if I want to say, it is a primary key. Don't want to get confused by reading the definition and all. Partition key is nothing but it is a primary. Partition key is nothing but it is a primary key. Primary key means the value, primary key means the value which is unique in the table. The value which is unique in the table, it is called primary key. The value which is unique in the table, which is called primary key. For example, maybe I'll create one table. If this is my table name, this is my table name. There is student ID. There is student name. and there is student subject, and there is student mark. There is student marks. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe I'll name it as some name like Nikhil. The subject is AWS. I'll just give a mark as 8. Again, there is one more student, like maybe I'll name it as Ramesh. Again, under the AWS, he has scored 90. There is one more student called in AWS, he has scored 70. We have Pakistan. So under the student table, so I have given student ID, student name, student subject, and student marks. This is my column name. And each and every column I have inserted a row, and like each and every row, I have inserted some values like AWS 80 marks, 90 marks, 70, 60, and all. So I have a question now. Under this table, which is an unique column? Which is a unique column? This table, which is an unique column? Which is a unique column name? Is under this table, which is a unique column name. Is there? Hello. Guys, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me or not? Guys, someone respond at least. Yeah, I will also sit with you. When you guys are ready to respond, just let me.
Sorry, bro, I can't understand.
Just ask in this table, which is an unique column name, For example, if you are if you are working in an any office or any organization, they will be giving you the employee ID. They will be giving you the employee ID, which will be unique again.
Yeah,
Which will be unique.
student ID is unique for
Yes, here student ID is unique again. So here, which is an unique column name, student ID is unique because even though like there will be one more Nick, there will be one more Ramesh, but the student ID will not be same for them as well. Correct. So here student ID will be unique. Student ID will be unique. So maybe I can even add 5. Can even add one more Nikki, but he is different, Nikhil. Maybe like with the same name, we have multiple persons, right? So he is different, Nikhil. Maybe I can give us 40. But the student ID, it is not same. It is a unique. So that unique key, it is called primary key. This unique key, it is called primary key. So from your table, there will be one unique key, which is called primary key. There will be one unique key, which is called primary key. So here I'm going to, they are asking at least give the mandatorily, we need to give the primary key for the table which are going to create. We need to definitely give the one primary key. For example, I'm just creating one student details table. Here maybe I'll just mark it as student ID, the same. The student ID as a partition key. And here student ID is in the format of number. This is the number, right? It is the number. String means it is called string. See here, there is one more option called string. There is one more option called string. String is nothing but it is more than one character. String is nothing but if you have more than one characters, that is called string. If you have more than one characters, that is called string. For example, this is a character. This is a character. So if you have like AB, it is a string. If you have ABC, it is a string. It is a string. It is a string. Anything, if you have more than one character, which is called string. If you have more than one character, it is called string. But if you have the same numbers, digits, it is called number. If you have the digits, it is called number. If you have the digits, it is called number. So my student ID is a digit, right? It is a digit. So I'm going to choose it is a number. I'm going to choose it is a number. Sort key, I will come back again. This one also we are going to see, but as of now, I'm not going to do anything. So partition key alone, I have given student ID, the number. So table settings, I'm not going to do any changes. Just scroll down. So click on create a table. See here, on table has been successfully created. So it came into the active status. It is into the active status. So just click on this table. Just click on this table. See here, the partition key which we have mentioned, this came over here. The partition key is mentioned. It has been displayed over here. Now we need to create one table. We need to create one table. So here, there is one option called explore table items. Here, there is one option called explore table items. So you need to click on this create an item and we need to create a particular table. So click on this create an item. See a student ID automatically comes in. We have not given this student ID as we have mentioned in this partition key. It is automatically coming while we creating any table. So maybe I'll just mark as one. Student ID is one. So next, I need to add the name. Under this add new attribute. So name is the string actually. So I'll just mark as student name and here maybe I'll name it as I will need to add the subject. Again, add one more string, std and subject. Maybe this one is AWS. And I need to add the marks. Marks is again, it is a number. So what I will do, student marks, and here I just mark it as 8. So now I'm going to click on create an item. You scroll down, see properly it is in the form of table data. Student ID, student marks, student name, and student subject. I will also add 3 more items as well. Create item. See here, again I'll give market as 2. And I need to give again string student name. There is Ramesh. I'll add one more string. So it is student subject. Then I'll add one number, which is an student marks. Maybe is scored around 70. So just click on create an item. So see here. This one also successfully created. I'll create one more thing. See here, why this AWS has been missed over here? Because I have not given the complete column. I have given STD subject only. That is the reason. Maybe I'll create one more thing. Maybe I'll just mark it as 2. I'll add one more string, student name, the Rajesh. I'll click one more string. Subject, student subject. Maybe now I will give us AWS and new attribute. You can add number, student marks. He is scoring around 60. I'll also click on create an item. If you scroll down, it will be in the proper table format. It will be in the proper table format. 1 minute, I'll just delete this. So I'll create one more item with a column 2. So click on string. It is student name. Click on string. Subject. AWS. Number. Marks. So successfully we have created one structured table. As we know, DynamoDB is an unstructured. It will not be in the proper table format. But here, for a demo purpose, I have created one proper table format only. I have created one proper table format data over here. So every details has been successfully given over here. Every details has been successfully changed over here in the proper table format. Okay. So as we know, it is an unstructured data. As we know, it is an unstructured data. Okay. Now, I will add, there is 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 items. If I add one more item, maybe I need to add one more item for Nikhil. I need to add one more item for Nikhil. So again, I will give 1. Again, I will give 1. So maybe I'll add student name. I'm going to give the same student ID 1. Again, I'll get the student name. Here, if I pass Nikhil, and if I pass the student subject, as maybe this time, I'll just mark it as Azure. So he is storing in Azure. Again, I'll just mark as student marks. So here, I'm going to give the mark as 90. If I click on create an item, see here, it is throwing an error because an item with the primary key view provided is already exist. So unique ID cannot be repeated again. Unique ID cannot be repeated, even though you are declaring this for a Nikhil for a different subject. Since you have just marked as a student ID as a partition key, you cannot add one more item with the same ID. You cannot add one more item with the same ID. But there might be a possible, right? In real time, we can also, there might be a possible, for example, for example, here itself, if I give Nikhil, here he is working on different subjects as well. He might study different subjects as well. This is possible, right? So even though I'm repeating this primary key, but the subject is different. So one people will be studying multiple subjects. One people will be studying multiple subjects. But then it is possible, right? Then why it is not allowing? Since we have not declared one sort key, that I said, right? There is one option called sort key, so which we can use later. I said, so with the help of this, we can achieve this. As of now, we have declared this primary key as 1. As of now, we have declared the primary key, which has a student ID. I've already created with the value 1. So it is not letting me to create another details with the value 1. If you want, you can give 5. Now, if you click on create, it will create actually. See here. Now it will create, but you cannot repeat the numbers which are already given. That is called unique key because it is unique. You cannot repeat the same employee ID or student ID to the another students, to the another students. So that is the reason if we cannot have duplicate primary keys under your table. You cannot have duplicate primary keys under your table. So this is not possible. This is not possible with the help of primary key. It's not possible with the help of primary key. For this reason, we need to go for one more option called sort key. For this reason, we need to go for one more option, which is called sort key. Okay, I'll come to this later. Before this, there is two options to store and all. So maybe in a normal programming term, there is one term called list and map and all. In a normal programming term, there is one term called list and map. List is nothing but list and term. List is nothing but it is a group of list is nothing but it is a group of data. List is nothing but it is a group of data. So and map again it is a group of data, but it will be in the form of key value pair. It is the group of data again. It is, I can even say it is a group of key and the value pair. It's a group of key and value. For example, AWS. For example, AWS 90. Here it is a key, it is a value. For example, Azure, here scored 70. Here Azure is a key, 70 is a value. Here Azure is a key, 17 is a value. Here, for example, if you are using GCP, these are 50. So here GCP is a key, it is a value. AWS is a key, 90 is the value. Azure is the key, 70 is a value. GCP is a key, and 50 is the value. So map will be in the form of key and value pair. Map will be stored in the form of key and value pair. So if I go here, so since you said AWS DynamoDB is the unstructured database, where you are stored the proper format, right? How to store in the form of unstructured data. So click on create an item. Again, there is no unique called 4 and all. So I'll just create one row under 4. So maybe I'll add one string, just student name. Student name. For example, I'll just mark it as Monica. So I'll just add one more string, which is student, maybe a subject. So what I'll do, I'll just remove this. So here I'm going to add a map. See here, there is one option called map at the last. There is one option called map. So as of now, we have seen string and number. So map is something I already said, it is a key and value. See here, if I pass student subjects, I'm going to insert a field which is a string now. See, under the student subject, I am going to have AWS. And I am going to give 70. It is a key and it is a value. If you want, you can add one more subject. This Azure, and I can give as 60. If you want, you can add one more string. So maybe GCP, and I can even give as 50. So under the student subject itself, I have given 3 subjects. See here, under this only it is coming. Under this tree only it is coming. If you minimize, you cannot see anything. If you minimize, you cannot see anything. So once you after added 2 things, what I will do, I'll just click on create an item. If you scroll down, here. See here. Okay, I'll edit this 1 minute. See here, everyone having the proper AWS and Azure only, but still Monica is having some unstructured format data. unstructured data. See here, it is giving us, see, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. See, it is given as AWS. It is a string. S denotes string. It is not a number. We are given as a string. That is the reason it is given S. And GCP and Azure. So everything is in a normal. It is not in a structure. So it is an unstructured format. So everyone is following one format. She is following a different format. She is adding all the subject details in that table, but everyone is adding only one subject. So even you can store structured as well as non-structured data over here. So this is called non-structured. You can give under the student marks, you are not giving anything. So you are giving empty. So it is an unstructured. If you are giving the proper marks, then only it is called as structured. If you're not giving the proper data, the data is somewhat mismatched or the data is somewhat in the like abnormal format, that is called unstructured data. That is called unstructured data. So it is an unstructured data. It is in the form of their own task they are creating, their own data they are creating. They are not storing it properly. They are not following some proper structure format in the table. So that is called unstructured. That is called unstructured. So, okay. So next, we need to allow this thing. We need to allow, even if I give one more same unique key, or even if I use the same unique key, it should be allowed, because I am giving for nickel, I'm giving for different subject. I'm not going to give us same subject. But if I insert the same thing, you don't need to allow, because I'm just repeating, I'm just duplicating. This one you don't allow, but this one you should allow, right? But this one you should allow, because I'm just changing the subject. This one you have just completely same. The first one is, this one is, it is completely same. So for this reason, you can block this because it is already unique and it has been already added. But here I'm just having some changes, right? You should allow this, because one people can have multiple subjects as well. So I'm just adding Azure again. So you must allow here. So for that reason, we are going on concept called sort. For that reason, we are going on concept called sort key. Sort key is nothing but it is also called as composite key. How like partition key is also called as primary key. Here, sort key is also called as composite. Sort key is also called as composite. Now let's see what happened. I'll create one more table over here. Just delete this table. Here, just click on confirm. Click on delete. Maybe I'll click on create a table. This time, maybe I'll just mark as employee table. My table name is employee. My thing is employee ID. My partition key I have given is employee ID, and which is a number. See here, sort key. You can use the sort key as the second part of table's primary key. You can use the, see here, it is helps to share the same partition. It is helps to share the same partition key. With the help of the same unique ID, you can create one more data as well, but with the different subjects or different marks or different details and all. Maybe what I will give, employee department or not. What might be different? I'll just mark a student table itself. So I'll go for student. Maybe I just give us student. So start key, what I'm giving is student subject. Maybe I just give a student sub. So it is my start key, because subject only we are going to differ. So under this, name is not going to differ, because you are going to add the same nickel but different subject. So we need to pass this column. So I'm giving a student subject. So rest of that I'm not going to change. Click on a create table. So I'm just clicking on this. Click on explore table items. Click on explore table item. Click on a create an item. See here, it is showing two types. One is partition key, another one is sort key. One is partition key, another one is sort. What I will do, I will add an ID, employee ID, and maybe a student ID, and subject as AWS. Subject as AWS. I click one more string. I pass a student name, maybe is I'll pass student marks number, which is student marks. Maybe the score is 90. What I will do, I'll create an item. So if you scroll down, the item will be created over here. If you scroll down, the item will be created over here. Okay. What I will do, I'll create one more item. Maybe with the help of two, and subject is again AWS. I'll add one more string, which is student name. The name is Rakesh, and I'll give the number, which is student marks. Maybe I'll give us 70. I'll again create an item. Item will be displayed over here. Now I need to add for Nikhil. I need to add one more subject for Azure. I need to give him one more subject called Azure. So what I will do, I'll create the same unique ID, but here I'm going to give us Azure. But in subject, I'm going to give a value as Azure. Again, I will click on string. Here I just name it as name. The same name I'm going to give. The same name I'm going to give. It is a Nikhil. It is a Nikhil. And number is student number or marks, sorry. Student marks. Maybe is code 50 in Azure. Now, previously, while we try to create this one, it will throw an error because we are using the unique partition key, which should not be allocated to another thing. But here, since we have give a sort key as a subject, I'm just giving, if I give AWS, it won't allow. If I give AWS, it won't allow. Here, I'm giving only the Azure only. So if I try to create, click on create, see here, even I can able to create for a Nikhil with the same unique ID, but with a different subject. If you try to create with AWS, definitely it will throw an error because you're just duplicating the same thing. At that time, it will throw an error. But I'm just giving a different subject, right? So this student subject will check whether Azure has been already added or not to the table. If it has been already added, it will throw an error. If it's not, then if it is a new, again, it is a unique subject or a new subject, definitely it will allow to create. See here, with the help of sort key or the composite key, we have created this as well. The help of sort key and the composite key, we have created this duplicate student ID with the help with the other subjects. If you try to create with the AWS, definitely it will throw an error because student subject will check now. This composite key or the sort key will check whether AWS has been already repeated or not. If it is repeated, it should show an error. If it is not repeated, it will allow us to create. By this way, you can achieve that by adding the sort key or the composite key. You can add the other values as well. If there's any doubt, let me know. If you have any doubts in primary key or the sort key, just let me know.
No, sir.
Nothing, sir.
So under the students itself, there is more option. If you just scroll down, assistant setting. There is an option called read write capacity. See here. Under the we have a capacity calculator. Here we can see how much amount this DynamoDB is charging. As I said, it is high cost, I have said. But we need to know, right, how much charge the cost is here. The item size, if your item size is maybe 1000 KB, your item size is 1000 KB. So what I am doing, I need to read 1000 KB per second, I need to read 100 files per second. 100 files I need to read from this 1000 KB. See here, it is charging around $56,432 per month. $56,432. If I reduce, no issues. So it obviously it will take some time. For example, per 1000 KB, if you read per second, only one size per second, 1 KB per second, definitely it will take 1000 seconds in order to complete this one. For example, if you are having 100 MB size, you are having 100 MB. So what you are doing, you are only a capability of reading 1 MB per second. Processing 1 MB per second. Obviously, it will take 100 seconds in order to complete the 100 MB. By the same way, if you have 1000 MB, by the same way, if you have 1000 MB, if you are processing 10 MB per second, you are processing 10 MB per second. Obviously, it will again take 100 seconds in order to process this 1000 MB. But what happened if I give 1000 MB? Maybe I need in the form of 100 Mbps per second. I need 100 Mbps per second. Obviously, in 10 seconds, I may complete this process. So it is speed when compared to these two. It is very much speed when compared to this two. Obviously, the speed and the performance side, then definitely the cost will high. The same thing here. If you want 1000 KB to process only 1 per second, it will take 1000 seconds, so that your amount is somewhat less. Even it is costlier, but somewhat less. But if you give 100, if you give 100 read and write operation, see here, it is charging $56,432 per month. It is charging $52,432 per month. So with the help of capacity calculator, we can know how much charge is. The help of capacity calculator, we can know how much charges. So there is here, there is one consistency, eventually consistent, strongly consistent, and all we have. Eventually consistent, standard, transactional, and all we have. So what is this consistency? What is this consistency? So if you go to your student table, the indexes. See, there is an option called replica. There is an option called replica. If you click on create a replica, you can create your own replication database in some other region. See, we have created one DynamoDB in Mumbai region. Now, if you want to replicate it in Singapore region, you can even replicate. If you want to replicate in Singapore region, you can replicate the same table in the Singapore region. Why? Because of security. Even if there is any issues in this table, your data is safe with the Singapore table. Your data is safe in the Singapore region. You can create your own replica as well. You can create your own replica. Just see here, your current region is Mumbai. Available replica region, you can create anywhere. You can create anywhere. So we can safeguard our databases in some other region. We can safeguard our databases in some other region. Yesterday itself, I have said, so this is my Mumbai region database. This is my replication. Maybe I will just mark it as Singapore. So this is my Mumbai region. And this is the Singapore region. This is the Singapore region. Obviously, what I have given, I have given the replication to the Singapore region. I have given, or I have replicated my databases in the Singapore region. So yesterday I have said, if there is any changes you are making it, it should be reflected over here. It should be reflected over here. So obviously it will take some time. You can, if you make any changes, if you add one file over here, immediately it won't reflect here. It will take some time. It will travel to this Singapore. The data will be traveled. The distance, the latency, it will high actually. So it will take some time in order to reflect over here. It will take some time in order to reflect in the Singapore region. So that is called in this consistency. That is this consistency. There is two things. One is eventually consistent. One is eventually consistent. What is eventually consistent? So if you update or delete something, it will take some time to reflect. It will take some time to reflect in your replica region. Reflect in your replica region. But standard, if you choose the standard option, if you're updating any file, updating or deleting any file, here data will be updated immediately. It won't take time. The data will be updated immediately if you choose the standard. Obviously, definitely if you choose standard, the amount will be high, right? Obviously, if you choose standard, the amount will be high. Okay, I will go here. What I will do, I'll go to students and I'll go to the calculator. So click on edit. So under the capacity calculator, what I will choose, it is strongly consistent. Maybe I'll just mark as 100. This one also. My file size is 1000. See here, now I'm choosing eventually consistent. It is somewhat less, 56,000. Strongly consistent, similar to standard. See here, it is very sharp. If I choose transactional, it is high-end performance. Transaction is something, it is high-end performance. Standard, if I choose, it is throwing me $57. $57. So obviously, if you choose standard and if you choose strongly consistent, the amount will be very high because the data will be updated immediately. The data will be updated immediately. So where you can replicate your database under your global table option, you can replicate your database by selecting whichever region you want, by selecting whichever region you need, Again, this consistency will be under the capacity calculator. Will be under the capacity calculator, where you can see how much the calculation for each and every read and write operations. Where you can see how much the calculation for each and every read and write operation. Okay, guys, this is what in DynamoDB we will be covering out. So, if you have any doubts, just ping me. Let me know now. Yes, if you have any doubts, let me know, or else it's connect tomorrow.
We'll practice
Yes.
Ishan. Then only we can know.
Okay. Sir. Okay, yes, it's connect tomorrow.